Introducing first the challenger in the corner to my left. From New York, New York, weighing in at 202 pounds, they call him Clancy. Clancy, Clancy! His opponent in the corner to my right. Tonight, he makes his 22nd title defense of a 292-day reign. He is a WWE ID prospect, wrestling out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Weighing tonight at 180 pounds, he is the current reigning and defending undisputed IWTV Independent Wrestling World Champion. He is the finest Marcus
I touched on it before you entered the broadcast booth. I know you had some last-minute business to take care of before you joined us here at DC, but Marcus Mathers and Ryan Clancy have been some of the closest of friends that I've known in the Wrestling Open locker room over our 4 years of existence. These guys are tight. We've seen them team here many, many times in the past as well, but tonight, you know that through the maturation process, they know that once the bell rings, we're enemies.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look back to the start of the year where both of them were champion. Ryan Clancy, the Wrestling Open champion, Marcus Mathers, the Independent Wrestling World Champion, and they stood side by side. They challenged for the Wrestling Open Tag Team titles against Swipe Right back in March in Foxborough, Massachusetts. So I think they know each other pretty well, but I think the dynamic of being friends is going to hopefully ensure us, as the bell rings, this matchup officially underway, a clean fight. I hope that the amount of respect that they have for one another is not just dumped on the side of the road because of what's at stake.
And I hope that Fancy has his eyes squarely on Marcus Mathers and not thinking about his issues with Bear Bronson that we saw come into play last week, where he accidentally drop-kicked Bronson, costing them their spot in the Eliminator Cup. I hope his focus is purely on the IWTV Championship, because he knows that Bronson is in the building, and Bronson's still really mad about last week. I mean, he shoved Clancy after that match.
Sure. Well, I want to question what kind of condition Bronson's even in after he got dropped by Will Cruz earlier tonight. That's a matchup that we're going to see this Thursday at Goodnight Hayes, our final Wrestling Open event at Electric Hayes before we move back to White Eagle for Wrestling Open 200. But let's not get ahead of ourselves right here. There's a lot of different dynamics coming into this matchup. One of the things that I want to keep an eye on is that banged-up left shoulder of Fancy Ryan Clancy, who, I mean, whether or not Limitless Wrestling was streaming live on IWTV on Friday, I saw the clip going viral online. Somebody sent it to me, and in an attempt for one of his signature drop kicks, unfortunately a rare miscalculation, and he landed at an extremely dangerous angle at an already weakened shoulder. So his neck, his shoulder, I mean, he's wearing the target as a brace to try and get more support in this matchup, but you have to wonder if Marcus Mathers, if push comes to shove, if he's going to be looking to exploit that potential injury.
Yeah, I mean, with everything on the line here tonight, Marcus Mathers knows that that might as well be a bullseye. They shook hands before the match, but it's not dirty to target something that you know is a vulnerability, and I know Marcus, as a champion, has made so many successful defenses, 21 of them, not by being everyone's friend. You can't be everyone's best friend when you're the champion. You have to risk making enemies, and if it means going after that shoulder, I think he's going to do exactly that.
Sure, and I have to wonder what cracks there are in the armor of Marcus Mathers coming into this matchup. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. One thing you got to point out about both athletes, this is the best physical condition that we've ever seen them in. Fancy Ryan Clancy coming back from Japan. Obviously, all of the training over there did wonders for his stamina and for his physique. Obviously, since Marcus Mathers has joined up with the WWE ID program last November, Marcus Mathers is in the best shape that we've ever seen him, having access to all that strength and conditioning and dieting coaches at the Performance Center. So two totally different styles. And I think that's what's going to make for such an interesting contest as this one continues to unfold.
And I wonder if there's going to be any thoughts in the mind of Ryan Clancy of, this is where I lost my championship. The Wrestling Open title was stolen from him by Bryce Donovan, inadvertently from Bobby Orlando. They finally got all of that settled over the summer, and Clancy and Bobby are on good terms, but you have to think, being in this building just does something to somebody who's had something taken from him like that here tonight. I wonder if that's going to play in his mind.
Well, Clancy and Bobby are on good terms as of today. I think it's fair to say that Clancy, had a lot of conflict, a lot of internal discourse, especially based on the way that he lost the Wrestling Open Championship back in May. And I think that's created a lot of complex relationships with him and other members of the Wrestling Open and Wrestling Open Rhode Island locker rooms. As best as I know, him and Marcus Mathers still on good terms, but Clancy, having that shoulder targeted, was only a second away from being pinned very early in this independent wrestling world title defense. Marcus Mathers versus Fancy Ryan Clancy.
And the anger, the issues he had toward Bobby Orlando are what directly led to his still ongoing issues with Bear Bronson. First, it was over a comment Clancy made about Bronson's wife, Gabby Forza. Now it has turned into something different. We thought they had settled their issues, and then Clancy, having his irate, couldn't see through that drop kick, hit Bronson, thinking he was throwing it to Nick Petit and Jose Zamora. And that is why Bronson, I'm sure, even with an injured neck, I do know he had his neck checked. He's still backstage. He did not go to a hospital. So I do know that he is back there watching us, probably in a lot of pain and discomfort.
Yeah, I mean, if I were him, I'd be packing up, going to get an ice pack and hitting the road. You talked about the conflict between Bronson and Fancy Ryan Clancy. We saw the handshake at the start of this match, but there is still an ongoing conflict with Clancy and Timothy Thatcher. Obviously, Clancy victorious at American Rana, and just the mindset that he was in. He did not shake Thatcher's hand when Thatcher extended it. When Clancy bested Thatcher in the second round of the Bound for the Floor Technical Wrestling Tournament, his second and last stop before defeating Alex Reynolds to earn this independent wrestling title opportunity. He wanted to make matters right between him and Timothy Thatcher. He extended his hand to Timothy Thatcher, and Thatcher did not oblige. So, respect is a two-way street, and thus far, we've seen a clean fight in this match, but I do have to wonder if it's just a matter of time, if the friendship gets thrown out the window, and if things start to break down, because when you think about what the independent wrestling world title has done to launch the careers of so many young professional athletes into the stratosphere, to become nationally recognized household names in this industry. Somebody like Orange Cassidy, somebody like Chris Statlander, the list goes on and on.
Tries that shot with the clothesline. Marcus keeps ducking, he's a step ahead, and how about a shoulder block to the bad shoulder of Ryan Clancy, because for Marcus Mathers, he's going to take what he can get here in this defense. Number 22 for him here tonight. It's not cool, fans bring the weapons, it's a totally different style.
Oh, Clancy had him well scouted there. And I would say that this is about as far as the other end of the spectrum as it gets from a fans bring the weapons match. Fancy Ryan Clancy is a traditionalist.
Look at that flying knee followed up. That throwback style that he has brought in to the 21st century. Ryan Clancy has been traveling, getting his name out there a lot more lately. He went off to Japan for a few months, came back, has been here fighting it out, and finally getting a chance at a championship. Maybe it's not the Wrestling Open Championship that he had taken from him. However, when it comes to championship gold, the IWTV title, I'm sure he'll be plenty happy with if he can take it away from Marcus.
Sure, some other former champions, Lee Moriarty, Alex Shelley, Will Yuta, who's going to be joining us next week at Wrestling Open 200, one-on-one first time ever against somebody else that competed in the Bound for the Floor Technical Wrestling Tournament, Joseph A-Game Alexander, who has been a revelation for Wrestling Open every Thursday forever at Electric Hayes in Worcester, Massachusetts. So for Joseph Alexander to get the opportunity to compete against a former champion, also somebody that's obviously renowned for their technical prowess in Wheeler Yuta. That is an exciting match to bring to our return to the White Eagle on Thursday, October 30th for Wrestling Open 200. The question remains, which of these two men is going to be walking into that event as the undisputed independent wrestling world champion? Is it going to be Marcus Mathers or Fancy Ryan Clancy? Right now, Clancy with the advantage.
And Clancy's first title defense when he won that championship at the Last Stand, he only waited a few days to wrestle John Walters on New Year's Eve. So you want to talk about a man who's willing to push the boundaries, to test his toughness under any circumstance, considering he just went through a steel cage war with Brad Hollister and the rest of Big Business a few days before that. Clancy is certainly not going to back down, and he's seen a very style of defense, even though he held the title for only 123 days.
Sure, but you know, that's how he started the year. Marcus Mathers with the fans bring the weapons matches. Clancy goes for a cover. Clancy coming out of steel cage warfare and immediately competing against John Walters. Both of these guys have had tough years, but I think the wounds of war showing more on Fancy Ryan Clancy. I didn't have much of a chance to catch up with either of them before the event started here today, before we started letting fans in, but I asked Clancy what kind of condition he was in, and all he basically said is he needs to listen to his body more. So, I hope that, he's as close to 100%. Obviously, doctors clearing both men to be able to compete for the IWTV Undisputed Independent Wrestling Championship. If you're joining us at youtube.com/BandWrestling or now on IWTV. Both competitors very evenly matched. Clancy, I think, in the corner has the advantage right now with some of these strikes, but Marcus Mathers can string together offense pretty much unlike anybody else. I think that's one of the reasons he's been successful with 21 defenses as the independent wrestling champion.
And Ryan Clancy bounced his shoulder off of Marcus Mathers in that roll through right there.
Yeah, he was looking for a neck snap, but Marcus had it scouted, was able to get out of the way.
And the shoulder was collateral damage, and then so was his chin when Marcus kicked him. And now Marcus starting to get on a roll here. The shoulder, the jaw, slowly starting to pick apart Ryan Clancy here with the IWTV Championship on the line.
Another contrast between these two men. Obviously, Marcus Mathers, it's kind of like, is the machine behind him now? Going on to his second year with the WWE ID prospect contract, whereas Clancy's taken more of the path of the journeyman. He doesn't have access to a lot of the resources and accommodations that Marcus Mathers has in order to be able to succeed. I don't want to take anything away from Fancy Ryan Clancy or his struggles. At one point in his life, wheelchair bound. Somebody that they never knew if he was going to be able to walk again, never be able to compete as a professional wrestler, especially at this level. But Marcus Mathers has had a lot of advantages that independent wrestlers would kill for. Whether it's the money, whether it's the training, whether it's the access to diet and fitness, whether it's access to some of the greatest minds in professional wrestling. Does that give him an advantage as this match continues? I would have to say yes, Paul.
Yeah, I think the advantage goes to Marcus Mathers for all those reasons that you spoke about, but just the sheer fact that Clancy's coming in so beat up, just this past weekend being so beat up, and now being put down on the apron. Marcus continues to pick Clancy apart, but the one thing that could work against Marcus is the incredible resiliency that Clancy has shown over the years here at Wrestling Open, not just against one opponent. He's had to deal with 3 or 4 different people all at once over the years, so Marcus needs to maybe plan for the long haul in this match.
Well, that most recent exchange only good for a 1 count, as Marcus Mathers jockeying for position, able to take Fancy Ryan Clancy overhead with a vertical suplex. Very quick to get in a position for that pin and not wasting any time, not much separation whatsoever, immediately grabbing the right arm, but Clancy trying to defend as well. But again, he leaves himself susceptible with that shoulder being taped up like that harness. I really do wonder if it's going to do more harm than good. It's not a cloak of invincibility, It's basically just trying to keep that AC joint together to get through this matchup.
And that's how bad it is. Usually as a competitor, you don't like to go in there and say, hey, opponent, aim for this right here. But he really had no choice considering the condition that it's in to go in there and put his shoulder in harm's way like that.
Absolutely. I mean, look, Fancy Ryan Clancy, take a one look at him. He doesn't wear elbow pads. He doesn't wear knee pads. You know, it feels like it gives him better control over his body, better autonomy in the ring. And that's just, you know, a privilege or luxury that he's worked for that's been stripped away from him in this matchup.
As Marcus showing a little bit of aggression here. And he knows, having gone down to the PC, learned from some of the very best, that it's okay to do that sometimes. It doesn't mean you're crossing a line. It doesn't mean you're trying to cheat. It
Not
just
yet.
means,
Not yet.
Not yet, but all it means is you're trying to give your all here, as there's a big splash in the corner.
Are you surprised to see the crowd a little bit split this juncture in the matchup as Marcus goes for a pin, and that was closer to a 3 count than what we saw in the previous exchange?
No, I mean, I really expected the fans to take to both Marcus and Clancy and to be torn and to really feel as though, I mean, for the fans, maybe they each have their favorite, but I feel like the fans have a feeling that they're going to win either way, so they're just trying to enjoy what's going on in here.
Marcus Mathers taking the time to slow Fancy Ryan Clancy down. Timothy Thatcher hosting a seminar at the Beyond Institute of Professional Wrestling last Saturday, really breaking down the technique for this chin lock and how it applies so much pressure to the jaw. It's not a sleeper hold. It's not preventing the flow of blood to the brain. It's to try and apply as much pressure as possible on the jaw and on the teeth, inevitably up the side of the face. And I think that Marcus, again, just the access that he's had to the training, he's got perfect application of that hold as Clancy's trying to wrestle himself free. Any opening that he can get, might be looking for that drop kick. Instead, back body drop countered with a sunset flip.
And look at that, Clancy going to what works for him the best, and now he got it. He got it that time.
That's a sign of weakening up his opponent. Marcus knew it was coming. He could not get out of the way. He could not find a counter. Marcus Mathers wrestling his way over to the ropes, having to pull himself back up to his feet just to get wiped out once again. Clancy trying to push the pace of this matchup.
Irish whip reversed. Big clothesline from Clancy.
Clancy's starting to feel comfortable. Are we getting closer to that finish line?
Here we go, gonna pick him up with one arm, by
He just
the way.
pancaked him.
Still enough strength left in that shoulder, but not fully. As he's having to make some adjustments right there in the way he makes his covers, the way he executes his moves.
Yeah, that's a tough maneuver, bridging butterfly suplex when you've got 2 good shoulders.
Well, he had one. He was able to wrangle it a little bit, but only gets a count of 2. So for him, now it's about making adjustments. You know the game of football at halftime. They go in there, they try to make adjustments based on what happened in the first half. That's what Clancy has to do right here. This is a game of 2 halves, a match of 2 halves. He's at halftime right now, and he really needs to go in there and make adjustments.
Maybe halftime. We might have just seen the end of the first quarter. 60-minute time limit.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, Clancy's going to need a lot of time in here because Marcus did a number on him pretty much from the time the bell rang. So he's going to need some time in here to recover, recuperate, and rethink what he's going to do here. And that's going to have to be a slow, methodical pace, or maybe just a right hand to the jaw.
Well, I will say this, the longest match in Marcus Mathers' title defense as Clancy is trying for that backdrop suplex like Marcus did to him a few minutes ago. And Clancy simply does not have the strength to pull it off.
The shoulder strength isn't there.
And even still, I mean, he was able to throw him onto the hardest part of the ring, but it lacked an oomph to really do 100% damage, to really maximize that hold. But the longest defense that Marcus Mathers had, believe it or not, was actually against renowned deathmatch wrestler Alex Colon, a match that went about 23 minutes back in March. All of his other defenses, pretty much 20 minutes or less. So Marcus Mathers, I think both of these guys are incredibly well conditioned, but I would be shocked to see this one go the distance.
And there's the situation that I thought Fancy would find himself in. He had to make an adjustment, and he did something he usually does not do ever. He threw Clancy face first, or Marcus face first, into that steel post. And I think that's a sign of him believing that I have one shoulder here. I got to do something different.
Well, he's rebuilding his confidence on the floor, but he's got to get his opponent back in the ring, or else it's going to be a count-out. Even if he wins the match by count-out, the title's not going to change hands. We're not going to solve anything here tonight.
But Marcus gives it right back there. He had an opportunity presented to him, and he just executed right there. But Clancy right back on the attack, as it was not enough. More of a glancing blow on that pose from Clancy as he makes the cover. And you can see the frustration starting to settle in. I mean, it takes a lot for me to get out of bed when I have a shoulder injury, let alone get in there and compete against
I don't know
somebody
how
like
these
Marcus
guys do
Maddox.
it. I don't know how these guys do it. It's not just the amount of time that they spend conditioning their bodies, but the amount of punishment that they have to endure to compete as often as they do. It's you know, we take for granted how special what professional wrestling is, and especially how lucky we're able to. This is Beyond Wrestling's 80th full-scale live event of the year. We are on track to produce 100 wrestling events. That is an average of one every 3.5 days here in 2025. So, you know, I have to tip my cap to all of the wrestlers that are able to make it happen, but it's not just the wrestlers, it's the venues, it's the staff, it's the crew, it's the fans that all make it possible as Fancy Ryan Clancy drives Marcus Mathers head into the mat. Maybe his strategy is, man, it sucks having a hurt neck. Maybe it's time to start doing damage to the neck of Marcus Mathers and get him all discombobulated. Because when you do a lot of damage to the neck, it saps a lot of the strength out of both the arms and the legs.
But Ryan Clancy may not have access to the PC and all those mines down there, but he has been in there with the likes of Brad Hollister, the likes of TJ Crawford. I could list a laundry list, no, sorry to say list twice, but I could list a lot of names here that have used underhanded, devious tactics against him, and maybe he's starting to dig a little bit into his knowledge, into his experience, and use a little of that, walk right up to the line of cheating without going over it, knowing that he's in such a desperate situation right now.
Of course.
Gonna try to catch him right there.
Oh, that was a bad landing. That was a bad landing for Fancy Ryan Clancy. I'll tell you what, those turnbuckles, that is like getting hit in the head with a hammer. There's a little bit of padding only to prevent laceration. You've got to be real careful.
Oh, wait,
but Marcus Mathers, a rare mistake. And Marcus Mathers doing his best to hold on for dear life. Fancy Ryan Clancy tried to capitalize on the opportunity. Nothing doing. And, man, absolute precision. What a recovery from Marcus Mathers.
IWTV Championship on the line. Ryan Clancy, Marcus Mathers putting it all at stake here. Not just the championship, not just their friendship, but their well-being, considering how hard they're taking it to each other here, as Marcus not fully able to connect on that boot, but got enough of that kick to make an impact.
Oh, caught him with that stunner. That's a lot of impact on the head of the neck. And the Blue Thunder Bomb, the impact into the pin. And maybe there are no holes in the armor of Marcus Mathers coming to this match.
And did you just notice that right there? Ryan Clancy had to kick out with his bad shoulder. He had to fling that shoulder up in the air. So even things as simple as trying to get the shoulder up are causing extreme damage here to the challenger. Just writhing in pain here. I mean, this is a pain. What is Marcus doing? He's scratching at the leg right there of Ryan Clancy, as there might be a cut.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys maybe heard the announcement from Palladino that we hit the 20-minute mark, and Marcus Mathers, if he's panicked it, but there is certainly a renewed sense of urgency as this defense continues, because that's really the first kind of shape that we've seen of rule bending, as it were, thus far in this matchup.
Going after that leg. Gonna try so many different things in the arsenal, but Ryan Clancy sensing the danger, dropping down to a knee. There's a reversal, sends him off the ropes. Tried that drop kick, got caught. Now he's gonna try a single leg crab. He has it in the center of the ring. And if he can torque backwards toward that shoulder as well, he could do triple damage with the lower back, the leg, and the shoulder on this.
Well, I mean, look, he's going to systematically dismantle Fancy Ryan Clancy until he has his hand raised in victory. But again, with all of the damage done to the shoulder and the neck, You know, Clancy doesn't have 100% strength in his limbs. It's going to be easier for Marcus Mathers to get a submission victory. And you don't really think of Marcus Mathers as a submission wrestler, but this is the best place that he could find himself. I mean, Clancy's 10 feet away from the ropes on every side of the ring right now, Paul. You've got to wonder how much longer he can hold on. I mean, he is still just a man, flesh and bone. Somehow, though, his technical prowess, and that's how we saw him get to the finals victorious on the Bound for the Floor technical wrestling tournament. He had a counter that Marcus Mathers was not prepared for. He got over the ropes, and now I think that Marcus Mathers might be going to the well one too many times. Got to be careful whether he's looking for a figure four or that spinning toe hold. Extremely painful for Fancy Ryan Clancy, and every time he kicks out, he finds himself in a position of more torque. But Marcus Mathers, I don't know that he's a master of that hold.
Gonna go for a death lock here.
An Indian death lock.
A little ode to the Funker before that, but right now, death lock cinched in.
We're seeing Marcus Mathers, in my opinion, reach deep into his bag of tricks. But then again, who knows what he's learned at the Performance Center over the last year, competing in the WWID program, competing in Evolve. His bag of tricks may be so deep, he might only be scratching the surface, but this is the first time that he's had to dig that deep. He might only be on the second layer. This bag of tricks might go 100 layers deep.
And did you see that boot to the face by Marcus to Clancy? You want to talk about just digging down and getting to a visceral level here.
Well, the crowd chanting evil Fancy at Fancy Ryan Clancy. I still think that, again, his relationship with Bear Bronson, there's a lot of questions left unanswered, and that's why I was asking. I was surprised to see maybe if the crowd was going to pick a favorite as this one continued. I mean, both men are grounded. We just saw a headbutt to the face.
Marcus Mathers, Ryan Clancy, IWTV Championship on the line, but I think this crowd is also tuning into the fact that Ryan Clancy is doing things he usually wouldn't do. I don't even think it's the crowd begrudging Clancy for what he's doing. You know, our fans here like to have a lot of fun, but I think they're just pointing out that they know that Clancy is going to a place that he usually wouldn't with so much on the line here tonight.
Now that was resourceful. We saw him struggle with the backdrop suplex on the apron earlier in the match. Obviously having a lot of trouble with his leg, was trying to get separation. Marcus Mathers not allowing for any quarter, but we saw that flapjack style maneuver on the apron, which you pointed out earlier in the night, he was able to do with just one arm. So Clancy, I mean, he's a student of the game, but it's not just studying the tapes. He's learning and adapting his own strategy on the fly. Now, this is where I worry about Marcus Mathers with Fancy Ryan Clancy. He is sitting deep on that Boston Crab.
He might want to adjust to a single leg crab, get the pressure off his own shoulder.
Well, you know who taught him the single crab hold? Lance Storm up in Canada.
Here we go, now going to that knee, and now maybe he's going to lock in, or at least try to go for that figure four right here. And you want to talk about taking the pressure off his shoulder and putting it square on the legs of Marcus Mathers. He's done just that.
Lance is going to be careful, though. If Marcus can reverse the position, it will actually be Marcus Mathers that has the pressure in this submission hold. So this is a double-edged sword, this figure four leg lock. I mean, one of those classic wrestling holds that there is. And I would not doubt that Clancy has perfect application, but now Marcus has to show how tough he is as we hit the 25-minute mark.
As you see that cut on the leg of Fancy Ryan Clancy, that's what Marcus was going after earlier.
Well, that's what happened. You never know in a wrestling ring, but when you get on the floor, I mean, look, the wrestling ring, it has pads not to prevent impact, it's to prevent laceration. When you get to the floor, we get about 2 feet
turns
of
it around
on each side of the ring, and that's exactly what I was talking about.
Turns it around. Now Marcus has put the pressure on Clancy, and now Clancy has to try to break this up or get to that bottom rope somehow. And how about that? They both just decide, I think we've had enough of this hold.
Well, Clancy's also lucky that that gash on his leg is not bleeding heavily. I mean, that's a 2 or 3 inch size cut, and I don't know how deep it goes, but if we have to factor blood loss into this matchup, I mean, at the 25-minute mark, you're spent. Never mind physically, emotionally, but you know, blood is your fuel, and if your car's leaking oil, you're not going to be going too far.
Well, these two look like they've been in a car wreck here after 25+ minutes with the IWTV title on the line. They're both trying to limp their way into the finish line, but neither are willing to give up yet, as they know what's on the line here tonight.
I heard what Palladino said. You just echoed it. I know I said it. We're really 25 minutes into this matchup. I mean, these guys look spent, but These guys are incredible. I really can't say enough things about the future of professional wrestling and how fortunate we are beyond Wrestling Open, and Wrestling Open Rhode Island.
Marcus going to the top. Clancy there to
Careful.
greet him.
Big risk, big reward.
Superplex from Fancy, floats over. He's not
holding
done.
on.
Marcus able to reverse it, sent him into the harder part of the ring. The corners are harder than the center part. I think he was trying to fully push Clancy into those turnbuckles, didn't get it, but the bottom part of Clancy's legs might have collided with those ropes.
These guys are going on, and I mean, Clancy landing at a high angle, like you said too. His legs caught on the ropes as well. I mean, you can't train for that. You can't plan for that. You can't prepare for that. You can't strategize for that. You just have to hope that you're tough enough to survive that.
That's Clancy. He was the first one to really make movement here, but they're both crawling toward each other.
Just a war of attrition right now, the center of the ring. Both guys talking their trash, but let's see who's going to be able to back it up, Paul.
There's a forearm strike. Both men saying, I want this more. The only way to show it is to prove it. Back to their feet. Clancy going after that leg.
And Marcus doing a lot of damage to that leg. And you know, that's the biggest muscle group in the body. If you're effective in targeting that quad, you can tie up all these muscles. And let's face it, these guys don't get to stop to sit on water. So as you're wrestling, as you're sweating, you know, it's not just the conditioning, but dehydration becomes a factor. And when you're dehydrated, you know, have you ever had a Charlie horse? That happens because you're dehydrated. That could happen in the ring. That would be terrible for Fancy Ryan Clancy.
Going after the knee again, and he just crushed it. No knee pads, nothing. He just crushed the knee of Clancy.
And hooks around with that kick. Never even seen it coming. Your opponent behind you, kick in the front of you.
Drop kick, he hit it, Can he make the cover?
He's got him beat. One, new champion, two. Oh!
He kicked out of the drop kick.
You could probably count on one hand, maybe no hands, the amount of times that anybody's kicked out. And that is a hold that Fancy Ryan Clancy has perfected. But I'm going to go back and ask you, based on the fact that the last time he tried to deliver and he landed on his head, is there trepidation? Is there, perhaps, was he holding back with the execution for fear of what could happen when he made that mistake this past Friday night?
Well, whatever it was, that
or is it just the
on.
damage done to the leg?
I think it's
he
the
can't
damage
get full
done to the
extension.
leg, his exhaustion, maybe didn't get the height that he usually would. Whatever it was enough to keep Marcus Mathers alive as the IWTV champion, but for how long?
Starting to get frustrated, raining down punches, not something we typically see from Fancy Ryan Clancy, trying to get some feeling back into that left leg. I mean, half of his body is you know, undesirable, I think would be putting it mildly, between the damage done to his neck on his left side, his left arm, and his left leg. But he has to try and put the pain in the back of his mind and focus on the task at hand. You're going to get a pin or submission victory over Marcus Mathers if you want to become the independent wrestling champion.
Man, back and forth they go. Rich just told us we're a half hour into this thing.
Clancy trying to hold on to that back body drop for a pin, but unfortunately losing his grip. All impact on that landing. Oh, what a drop kick on a Marcus Mathers.
Drop.
1, 2.
Clancy out at 2. The drop kick, not the forte of Marcus Mathers. I'm very surprised he would even try that.
Well, I don't know, it looked pretty damn good to me.
Yeah, but there's only one person who can connect when he's 100%, and that's Ryan Clancy. And
now we see Marcus getting frustrated, but Marcus, again, we don't know how deep into the bag of tricks. We don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but typically likes to finish opponents with a 450 splash. A move that at one point was referred to as the Bozo Buster, I believe, seemingly starting off like a pile driver and landing into a face buster. So much rotation, torque, and impact as Marcus Mathers is starting to feel a little bit confident. And I don't know this late into the game if you want to turn the crowd on you like that.
here's Clancy. He saw it. The only thing he could do is throw a kick from his position.
You can't throw a good strike when you're on your back.
No, that's all he could do, though. That might be all he has left.
Running on fumes is Marcus Mathers now. Looking for that brain buster. Maybe he spoke too soon calling his shot. Got thrown over the top rope, but he's holding on.
Clancy going after him, at least partial skin of the cat.
Oh no, look at the way that Marcus Mathers caught him.
He caught him. Clancy's fighting here.
Look
There's
at
a
the
reversal.
Clancy.
Oh, he just dropped him on his head. And the only thing Mathers has is that mat to thank, because if that was on the wood floors, it would have been out.
Sure, thank you to our partners at Dolomer for providing that. It's great that Marcus Mathers didn't have the top of his skull split open. Clancy's lucky too, not wearing any knee pads, that he didn't crack a kneecap. But you're not going to tell me Marcus Mathers going, I don't know, 150, 60, 70 pounds, all of his weight being driven down. It's not about the impact on the head, it's about the body's impact crushing the neck. The tombstone pile driver, neither man stirring. I don't know. Are we going to see a double count out?
We might have a double count out here after all of this. After all of the effort, these two have to move if they want to keep this thing alive. They got to get going. Is someone going to beat the count?
Oh, they both beat the count. Clancy was
barely.
in first, but Marcus still in there.
Just barely beating that count. Man, the effort it has taken to get to this point, what a tragedy it would have been had that been the end, but Ryan Clancy and Marcus Mathers getting in there and beating that count.
Again, you just look at the history of the independent wrestling title and all of the incredible athletes that have held it. Cruel, Alec Price, Matt Tremont, Alex Shelley, Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander, Tracy Williams, Jonathan Gresham, just to name a few. I mean, the lineage, the legacy, what it can do to propel your career. There's so much at stake. Marcus Mathers is not trying to let go of that, but fancy Ryan Clancy, what it could do for his career. The crowd just drowning out one another at this point. They're not even taking turns going back and forth. They're chanting both men's name at the same time.
As Clancy now trying to find whatever heart, whatever soul he has left in his body to bring him, to will him over to Marcus Mathers to try to put the finishing touches on this match and become champion. But Marcus Mathers, we know he has heart, we know he has soul, but how much is left after that pile driver? He might be out. He might be out here.
The referee knows better than us.
Yeah, he's right there. Marcus is still stirring as both men slowly making their way back to their feet, but Clancy knows he needs just a little bit more to put this one away.
Off the ropes, looking for a drop kick once again.
Went for it, he missed.
Jackknife pin,
No
Clancy rolls
reversal.
through. Can he get that pile driver?
Try one of his own. No, goes into the power bomb last ride.
I mean, that was picture perfect execution from Marcus Mathers, but so much recoil. He can't even get in position for the pin. And instead of going for the pin, you have to wonder if this is a mistake.
So here we go, going up top. Hits
Oh,
the 450!
1, 2, 3. Did he get him?
How did Clancy get out? How did Clancy find the will, the soul, the heart to get that shoulder off the mat and keep this thing going?
Marcus Mathers in a state of disbelief. Fancy Ryan Clancy, I don't know. Is it instinct fighting on instinct, or is he just that damn good? And you see Marcus Mathers checking with the official. I mean, it does not get much closer than that.
As Marcus starting to show signs.
Signs of life. I mean, he's up on his feet, and Clancy's a crumpled heap of humanity.
I think it's pure frustration at this point. He thought that was it. He's won so many matches with that 450 that now maybe he's starting to doubt himself in this moment. Or maybe he's just plain mad.
Well, the fans are telling Marcus Mathers one more time. I don't know that Marcus Mathers can get the 450 splash that far away from fancy Ryan Clancy.
He's gonna go for one more. Clancy's stirring though. Clancy's moving and just grasping at straws here, hanging on to Marcus.
Marcus Mathers, he is just absolutely perplexed right now. He cannot believe that Fancy Ryan Clancy is back up to his feet, and one well-placed shot sends him crashing to the canvas.
As here we go, he's going up. Clancy once again. An act of pure desperation to stay alive here. Marcus doing what he can to keep Clancy down.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, it's all defense from Clancy at this point, and he just keeps putting himself in a position to keep getting attacked.
Here we go. He's going to go for it again. If he hits this, it is academic. It's over. But Clancy,
he can't. Clancy's still somehow, you know.
Does Clancy know where he is? He might not even know.
I think he knows enough to get over the ropes.
Here we go, maybe that Broad Street Buster. Gonna try to put him away with it.
Oh, perfect execution. He's gonna go for the pin? No.
No, he knows he wants to put this away big. He knows Clancy's gonna stay alive. He's gonna put it away with an exclamation point.
You think one's enough to beat the guy? We don't have an excessive punishment rule here at Wrestling Open, Rhode Island, or Beyond Wrestling. But 3 of those cross-legged brain busters, go for the pin, Marcus.
And now he definitely has him lined up. And he's gonna put the finishing touches on this one. He's gonna go for that 450 again.
I mean, Clancy not moving at all, favoring his neck.
Oh,
got the knees up!
Got the knees up! Clancy got the knees up! He had enough in his body just to get those knees up and to keep his chances alive.
Legs, though? How much damage done to his legs?
At this point, you gotta throw your well-being out the window if you want to be the champion. Hits the drop kick!
What are you doing, Clancy? What are you doing? Pin him!
One didn't do it before. Maybe he thinks he needs another.
He's got that leg hooked! Oh, he beat him!
We have a new IWTV champion. Clancy ran the gauntlet in more ways than one. It was a pure test of will, test of body, test of spirit, and Ryan Clancy just showed his spirit shines brighter than them all as the new IWTV champion.
A standing ovation here at Rhodes on the Patuxent in Cranston.
And there are still some fans upset that Clancy is the champ, but most have come to their feet out of admiration, respect, out of the instant classic that we just saw.
I think Marcus Mathers, I don't think he's ready to let go.
And he has no choice.
This match started off with a handshake. Marcus Mathers pulling away the title belt so that he can actually put it on. What a gracious champion, what a good sport.
The sign of a true champion, whether he is the title holder anymore, that is the sign of what a true champion is all about.
What a reign from Marcus Mathers, 21 defenses, almost 300 days, winning the title against Cruel in a Fans Bring the Weapons match at Heavy Lies the Crown on New Year's Eve. But Fancy Ryan Clancy victorious here tonight at Rhodes on the Patuxent in Cranston, Rhode Island for Wrestling Open Rhode Island. What a match!
What a match, what a moment. Ryan Clancy becoming the IWTV champion here tonight, and Marcus Mathers having to walk away as the former champion here tonight.
No, but you know what? He should be walking away with his head held high. Left it all on the line. Didn't take any shortcuts. Did it the right way. And fancy Ryan Clancy. Now what the hell is going on?
What? Bear Bronson?
Can Clancy just have his damn moment?
Bear Bronson.
No! No, he's got the opportunity to knock his contract.
I don't think this has anything to do with that contract.
Oh, then why bring it out if he's not looking to execute it?
He's not in good shape right now.
Well, Clancy's in good shape, Paul.
What does Bear Bronson have to say?
Are these guys gonna duke it out right now?
Bear looks like he's trying to hold it together here.
When you drop kicked me and you cost us our spot in the Eliminator Cup,
It was an accident.
I had a lot of time to think. I don't know if you did it on purpose or not. But
We all saw it. It was an accident.
But it doesn't matter if it was on purpose or not. Because I wanted that Eliminator Cup bad. I wanted it really bad. And you took it away from me. So the only way to make this right is for me to take something away.
He's gonna do it, Paul! Right here, right now!
And with this opportunity knocks contract, I can do that anytime I want. So congratulations, Ryan. Congratulations. But when the time is right, Bear Bronson is going to take that IWTV championship away from you.
Wow. Bear Bronson laying down the gauntlet to Ryan Clancy, saying congratulations, but when the time is right, I'm coming for that championship. Folks, we'll see you this Thursday for Good Night Hayes, and we'll see you here next Monday in Cranston.
Appreciate the small things, and you can appreciate the natural beauty in the world. Sometimes I cry when I'm happy.